and food.
Okay.
Sleeping with food.
Eating
All right.
shit.
Alright, you ready?
What's that? Okay.
Hello and welcome to another episode of BZG's Talking Shit. My name is Barrett Courtney, and here joined with me are my two good friends and great co-hosts, Henry Montiero and Ricky Baldazan. And here at Talking Shit, if you don't know, what we do is one of us brings in a topic of discussion to talk some shit about. And today, we have a very special friend giving us a very special topic, Henry Montiero.
C'est la vie!
What is your topic today?
Animated is yes or no. Okay, real topic. What do video games need to do to be taken seriously?
Ooh. I like this. I like this.
More anime titties.
This is an interesting one because I've been thinking about this a lot because there's a lot of really interesting indie games coming out that might change the tide of turning video games.
So you know what game changed the tide, I think, in the mainstream of like games being able to be taken seriously?
What?
Last of Us.
Yes, definitely.
More games like that.
Yeah, more like emotional, like gripping games.
Like Last of Us is important because it's a big mainstream developer coming out and being like, games don't have to be fun.
Yeah.
I that came out wrong.
Yeah.
Games don't have to be like
Silly.
They don't have to be fun and still be silly. You can have fun with a game that's very serious.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. Because Fallout 3 was still goofy as hell.
Oh yeah, no. Fallout 3, if Fallout and Bethesda, those aren't. That's not the company that would change that. You know,
They just make goofy.
it
games.
might be Yuba Arts that would do something like that.
Valiant
with
Hearts.
Valiant Hearts.
That's what made me think of this topic. Valiant Hearts: The Great War.
Yeah.
I've been playing that. I got it for PS Plus.
There you go.
It was one of the free games. I've been playing it, and it is amazing.
Yep.
Like, I can't think of a game that has been that emotional.
Yep. Journey.
Yes, there's Journey, but Valiant Hearts is like... Journey is like emotional and kind of an abstract way.
That's true.
Of just like...
But I think Journey would... No, yeah, never mind.
Journey's like emotional in an abstract way. Because it's just like, I feel a connection to this game. Why is that?
Yeah.
Valiant Hearts is like, holy shit, World War I was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is like when games are serious now, they're in like a really ridiculous setting. Like
Halo.
Like Halo
Gears of War.
or like Gears of War, like Dante's Inferno, where it's just you're in this ridiculous environment. You can't connect to any of this. Shit.
Yeah, like games, not all games, but there should be more games that are more grounded and realistic.
My wife got eaten by locusts. Okay.
Like Last of Us, where it's
Post-apocalyptic.
It's post-apocalyptic, but it's still so real because of the characters.
Yeah, and not because of the story, but the human emotion and the human connection.
That's why Ellie is like such a great character because she allows you to get connected to the game.
That game is the biggest fuck you, especially in the ending where it's just like, yo, what up? You're the terrible person in this situation. Go fuck yourself.
I haven't played it yet.
And then...
Oh, really?
Don't worry, I'll forget that you said that by the time I get to
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I
didn't ruin the entirety of it for you. You'll find out why. I didn't really spoil.
Nah, it's okay. I don't care about spoilers, really.
Okay.
And then, like, another game that I love so much, Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain, yeah.
Which was, like, not more games.
I thought it was a great movie.
Not more games with, like, that type of gameplay, but with that kind of story where it's just, like, real.
But... And those games are obviously coming up, and gamers are being heard, and saying that they want more of those games. So we're getting more, which is cool.
Like, I think you need, like, a mix of, like, the very connected emotional games
and
the very abstract
there needs to be, like, a distinction between... Because people outside of our nerdy world don't understand the difference between Minecraft and The Last of Us, you know? To them, it's just a fucking toy. It's just like, all right, whatever. Like, there needs to be a better distinction between those things.
Yeah.
And I think for those people outside of this world, that doesn't click with them, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to really...
Like
think of what what would need to happen for everybody to take it seriously?
Another thing is, it's not only like the type of games that we think would be really good to come out right now. It's also like
You might want to.
it's also like the game developers that aren't like, well, I guess they have like a lot of shit on their hands too, but I just have a feeling like a lot of them aren't listening to what the public wants and are focusing on stupid little projects like Bethesda and Elder Scrolls Online. I'm gonna keep shooting at
Yeah,
that.
just like online stuff in general.
Yeah,
like people are focusing so much on like
They're not focusing on the story.
Yeah, and that's like why Battlefront was at first for me was just like
No.
because I was really interested in getting like possibly a story where you're a stormtrooper and shit, and they like that would have been so fucking cool.
Like game developers are like, oh, like this is what everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to be connected and play with friends and be in like this whole like they're turning gaming into like a social networking thing, and that's at least for me. I'm one of those gamers when I'm playing video games. I'm not about like
It's not
playing
about a
with
social
friends.
connection.
I'm like
know?
sitting in my room by myself in my own different world.
It's not like it's like
separated from.
It's
everybody.
like the whole Blu-ray thing where Blu-ray had this thing where you can watch movies but also be online at the same time and talking about it while you're watching it. Like
I
on
know,
the
I
Blu-ray
want to sit down and be in this movie.
Yeah.
I want to be invested in this. When I'm playing online, don't get me wrong, playing with people is fun.
Yeah,
when I imagine
sort of
Battlefront,
yeah.
I think Battlefront is going to be solid and I'm going to have fun playing with you guys.
For me?
But like for the most part, when I'm playing a game, I like storyline. I like deep storyline. I like being separated by myself in a dark room.
Which is why you play Assassin's Creed, all of them.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's like, take like Titanfall, for example, where it was like you have like this kind of like different idea that you can explore of like this war with like the giant mechs. Explore that in a story, but instead it was like it's always multiplayer. And also like only multiplayer games kill games, because I think I've mentioned this before on this show, quoting someone else, how like if you have like nothing but multiplayer, there's nowhere for new audiences to grasp onto it.
Exactly.
So it's like Call of Duty, they have the story there so that new players can play that and get a grip of the game to eventually lead into multiplayer. Is what it really is. But with Titanfall, it's just the multiplayer, so if you're not already good, there's no real way to get better because you keep getting killed.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with multiplayer only games. Yeah. Because there's no like platform for newer players. But
I just would like to say I love the. A lot of people are starting to understand how big Batman Arkham is.
Yeah.
How big that really is.
Because before it was just like
like when Asylum came out, it was like, oh, that's cool, a Batman game, we'll check it out, and then it was fucking amazing. And then people were like, oh, that's cool.
Like I remember.
And then City came out, and it's like, oh, cool, a sequel to Asylum, that's cool. But like, the popularity this series has risen to, in just like the last couple of years, is just so it's mind blowing.
It's like it's probably the best licensed game of all time.
Like, I remember Asylum coming out and then seeing it, being really excited for it, but I was never invested enough to buy it. I don't even think I played it until I ended up meeting you. Like, I was not that invested.
Arkham Asylum is also a game that's in my top 10 games of all time.
That's a great game.
Mostly because I like it more than Arkham City, just because I like the atmosphere of Arkham more than...
Yeah, City definitely lost that.
Yeah.
Which I hope they kind of bring
back. Yeah, I think
it
just... And not to say that all video games need to be like this. Like, I love my Shovel Knight.
Movies.
I love my Shovel Knights. I don't want any of that kind of stuff to change, but there should be an understanding from the outside world that there are games that are sort of treated like movies, like Heavy Rain and like The Last of Us, and it's more about like the characters and finding out like about them, and it's not about like, oh yeah, it's really cool to kill like zombies and stuff. They need to realize that that's not the only pull. You know?
It needs to be like,
and there's even more like they don't and they even understand it less because they don't actually try to play the fucking games. Right. You don't feel as much of a pull watching a let's play of someone doing The Last of Us as you do if you're playing The Last of Us and you're figuring out the story like by yourself, and like you're in a way, you are Joel, and you're making these decisions with him, and
Billy Joel.
Which is another reason why I think, I still think people don't understand how beautiful this game is. But LA Noire,
Ella Noir was great.
I think that game is so fucking amazing, and like the whole outlook of the whole game and how advanced it was for the time with the whole like face capturing and
That game was insane.
the depth of decisions you made yourself. It was just and it was every single turn that you did in the game was so real.
Yeah.
It was so like ridiculously fucked up, and it was just a great game. I think we need more stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean.
yeah.
So what I've been trying to say is that I feel like video games need to be like how people go see like movies, and that they need to be viewed kind of like that. And like you can have like your very serious like movies.
You can have your Dark Knights and your Interstellars and your Birdmans.
yeah, and you can have like your stupid comedies
Like Transformers.
Yeah.
Well, you can have your stupid action games and like your stupid comedies.
No,
like,
Transformers wasn't a comedy?
no, it was
I was laughing the entire time because that was a shit show.
but like 21 Jump Street, like
Right.
Yeah.
You can
you
have-
can have your sort of
Everyone
Have
has
your
their
throwback
type
And,
of movies.
and you know what? Video games are that. People just don't fucking realize it yet. And people, again, it's just because it's thought of as a toy because video games are still very young.
Yeah.
Mario, the reason the 8-bit Mario amiibo is coming out is it's the 30th anniversary for Mario.
and
that's-
Mario's
oldest
like
game.
an icon.
Yeah, and that's well, it's not the oldest game, but it's
Icon.
icon,
Yeah.
and that's only 30 years old.
Younger
So,
than my mom.
yeah.
Like
And that's younger than my parents, and my parents had me like super fucking
like
young.
my brother's almost 30. Like what?
That's younger than Jack's brother.
Like it's just there hasn't been enough time for people to process what video games can be, and I think it's just maybe it was because they were given the title of video games. Maybe that word games there's just something about it that people just will never take seriously.
It's kind of like comic books in its early stages, where like
Yeah.
even like Stan Lee was like too embarrassed to say what he actually did as a living, because people would just be like, haha, right, you make like kids stuff.
Yeah.
You know
You
what
make
I
the
mean?
bang pow boom.
like it's still like considered like a kid's thing, like
Because it's
like
a very
like
young
that
way
guy, that guy
of
loves
storytelling.
yeah,
you know?
like, oh, this guy loves video games, he's obviously not an adult yet, you know what I mean? Like, it's still considered a very childish thing.
I think
But
the way
it's
you can
really isn't. It's a really like serious thing. At least like with us, like we love games, we take this shit seriously.
Yeah, and I was reading a very interesting article a long time ago, like last year, about like can video games be considered art one day, and how the emotional, like, do you not feel a difference of the emotional pull of like when you're playing Wind Waker and you see this beautiful scene, like you under like you just see the vastness and like the beautiful behind, like the just how
It's
gorgeous
hypnotic.
it is, and how that pulls you in, and like what's the difference of like being engaged in like
A painting.
like a painting, exactly.
And feeling that exact same thing. I think, if anything, video games are more art than a lot of different things, because you're literally escaping to a completely different world.
And you're a part of that,
And
but you're
yeah.
also able to like critique it in sort of like a painting and sort of look at it like
Like, I remember moments
video
when,
games are so fucking cool.
like I remember times like when you and me were both at Lincoln and we'd finish a game. Either it'd be you playing, me playing, or both of us playing, and we'd finish like a trilogy or a big game for the first time, and we'd like sit there and just be like
Bruh.
like it's over.
It's like it was like us like finishing Breaking Bad.
Like, we were just kind of like, what
do we do?
like what do we do now? Like, I remember City finishing and you like texting me after going like,
Bruh.
what the
What
hell
is
happens
life?
now? Like, what?
I think
I legit thought there wasn't going to be a sequel.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the
To
end.
what?
to Arkham City.
Oh yeah. Well, here, like, I think something that, like, going back to the comparison to comic books,
Mm-hmm.
something that we need to do to get away from it is that we need to get away from, like, the bullshit ERSB ratings. Because those ratings are bullshit, and they're kind of making things feel more kid-like. Because they're not showing, like, genuine like maturity now. It's rated. It's kind of like when the Comics Code Authority ran comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Everything had to be tame, and like to make like the Harry Osborn like drug addict story, which is still one of the most important stories in Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
They had to release that without license from the Comics Code Authority.
Right.
And games are ending up kind of like that because it's like they're
I don't know if I agree with you on this. but
everything
continue.
is rated higher than it should be.
So are you saying like they're limiting themselves in a way because of it?
Like they're afraid of talking about some things
like
more.
taboo subjects, sort of things,
Or like
because they're.
Yeah.
I don't agree with
comparison-
that.
In comparison with like your thing with like when comic books were in that kind of era and like DC was like kind of the bigger company, so they were more obligated to abide by the law. So when they did the whole like Green Arrow
My
thing
Speedy's
with,
a junkie.
thing, you know what I mean? Like they limited themselves because of that.
I don't agree.
No?
I think you need to play yourself some Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt to understand that there's a lot that isn't taboo in video games.
Oh, so there's just like how video games still, there's a lot of things that they can't like talk about like maturely.
True.
Like sex in games.
Yeah.
Like God of War uses sex as just a mini game to get more power.
Right.
And like I remember when God of War came out, that's what a lot of people were talking about. Like, dude, there's like these two like naked girls in it, and you can just bang them. I was in elementary school when that game came out. Jesus Christ.
I think it's like less of them limiting themselves and more like if something's rated E, it's like that's a kid's game.
Yeah.
Kind
But
of
if
thing
it's
that people
rated
look at.
M, it's like that's
Gonna be like a hardcore shooter. Halo.
or
Call
like
of Duty.
M-rated game is like that's a man-child game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not so much like a Last of Us like fucking masterpiece.
Like
Um,
my stepmom she said something that I thought was kind of funny when we were watching China, Illinois, and before before it came up, it goes, "This show is for mature audiences," and she just goes, "No,"
Yeah, it really isn't.
which is kind of the thing because it's
Yeah.
rated mature, but none of these things are mature
yeah.
because mature things can talk
It's
about
just,
it
how,
without
it's just
constantly
the
throwing
it's
around
just the
swear
word
words.
that they use for adults.
Yeah, it's kind of like games that are actually mature, games that make you think about what things are. Like Halo, Gears of War, those aren't mature games because it's really teenagers who are playing that, trying to find like an outlet for like their violence most of the time through
Right.
those games.
Exactly.
Like mature games should be like Last of Us, fucking
Journey.
fucking yeah, like makes
Braid.
you fucking think.
Yeah.
Because Braid,
Yeah.
do you remember Braid?
Yeah.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
And afterwards, you're just like, shit.
I want to even go as far as saying Bully would have been like under that same category.
No.
Well, if it took itself a little more seriously.
Yeah, if it did, but like, I don't. No, I
No?
don't agree with Bully.
Grand Theft Auto is not a mature game. It's like the most immature.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
It's
no,
just-
I would go say Saints Row is the most immature.
Well, yeah, but Saints Row is a masterpiece in every way and form.
No. So do we want to end it there? Do you guys have any other big points to make today?
I mean, I guess so. I mean, I think it's just more of like I think like the main thing.
We just
is
need to
that-
give it time, for
Yeah.
me at least.
is to give it time and kind of like make people realize that it's not that to take them seriously. Just
Yeah.
that
I think
it's not a fucking. It's a serious thing. It's a big group of people that dedicate themselves to these things and like involve like their whole lives into it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think part of it, Nintendo needs to move away from its completely kid-friendly idea.
I think that's fine.
That's fine because again, everyone has their own type of game. That
But
they
like the fact that
kids mostly play those. That's kids' games.
But
Nintendo
Nintendo-
does that.
Nintendo could like branch out into like slightly more mature like games because Nintendo's the biggest company of games.
No, they're not.
Well, like purely by name recognition.
Oh yeah, they're the bigger household name, but I don't think they'll ever do that, and I don't think that
They haven't rated Zelda.
they'll ever want to do that. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
Again,
yeah.
thank you for joining us
Yeah.
here at Talking Shit. My name is Barrett Courtney, and again, these are my great co-hosts and great friends, Henry Montiero and Ricky Baldazan. If you want us, first, I'm going to say, what do you think video games need to do to be taken seriously? Leave it in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And if you have a topic for us to talk some shit about, what you can do is email us at baiazonagamers@gmail.com. Or you can tweet at us at baiazonagamers. You can tweet at me at Banando. You can tweet Henry at Henrosaurus. You can't tweet Ricky because he is a basic bitch. And until next time, until our next episode of Talking Shit, which comes up every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, have a great day full of shit talk.